How to get a business loan with bad personal credit. And the question is, are you putting your business and everything under your personal account? In other words, are you running your business through your personal side solely? Hi, my name is Michael with Viral Funding Solutions. I'm an expert business loan broker. And in this video, I'm going to jump right into what it means to run your business underneath your personal account and what that can be happening for you right now, as well as in the future, and so much more. If you're watching me right now, please give me a hashtag live in the comments or hashtag replay if you'll be watching this later on. Appreciate each and every one of you who do so. I do see it. Sometimes I can't respond right away. And I do want to say that be careful of those people who do comment. There might be spammers, scammers. I'm not associated with them. Unfortunately, they come to my videos and end up wanting to do that. So please be aware of anybody that is not me or pretending to be me. It might be genuine people who are commenting. It's just sometimes hard to decipher that. Now you're seeing this document on this share screen where I'm saying, are you putting your business and everything under your personal account? And let me explain why you're seeing Homer Simpson in this meme where he's in the bushes. Perhaps you've seen this scattered all across the web. Now, perhaps you've seen me and you've heard me say this in the past, but what tends to happen a lot for business owners is when they start putting everything underneath their personal account, and then they go out and look for business funding, whether that's a cash advance, an unsecured term loan, a line of credit, or various different services, they end up kind of just hiding away from it all. See how they start off right here? You might be not exactly 100% sure of yourself. You're not ecstatic, but you're wondering what's out there. Perhaps you're getting bombarded by emails, not by me, by other individuals who are trying to hunt you down and pressure you in and trying to get you to take a service that they would want you to want. And then over here, you're like, oh, these are the requirements. These are the qualifications. And bye-bye. Then you see how you just kind of fade away into the bushes, never to be seen again, or then to come out a little bit later and then get that help. So I'm going to put some notes here on this document and then we'll move forward. What is he saying? People, you can't even say the word. People, be aware of this guy. He's a scam artist. Let me address this person, JG, first and foremost. Welcome in. I bring everybody in like I would with anyone else. Bring you underneath my shoulder, welcome you in. I have nothing but love. But if that's what you think, this is completely wrong. So for everybody else in here watching, if you're new, if you've been here for some time, you would attest to this, that I'm not a scam artist. Now, I want you to give me a reason, JG, in the comments why you think that is. When I challenge you, will you give me an answer that's legitimate? I have people in email, not every time, once in a while, in a blue moon, somebody goes, well, I thought you would help me, or you're not scamming. No, I'm not scamming nobody. My work attests for itself. I've been getting people funded today in all different types of services, SBA loans, unsecured term loans, cash advances, lines of credit, equipment financing, personal/startup loans. The list goes on. And I care for each and every one of you, no matter if an individual seems to want to attack me like this with probably no credible evidence to say so. And I wouldn't be doing this for so long if I were a scam artist. Why would I be appearing here? Because I want to make money? That's not my sole purpose and drive. So I want to attest to that right away by this individual here saying that I'm a scam artist, which I'm not. So let's move on. Let's not give them more energy and of our time. So over here, I speak with a lot of business owners who, and I can make a different video on this as well, I want to say, where I can talk about what personal credit is, how does it affect you getting a business loan, and more or less that'll be this topic, but I can go into it even more in depth that I may make a separate video for in the future. But you're running your business and you're racking up a lot of personal credit card debt. So your overall debt, you're probably like 25,000 in, let's just say 35,000 to 100,000 plus, because it takes a lot when you're just getting started with your business. You might take on somewhere between an average of, let's say, 15,000 to 350,000 to just start your business. And you're racking up a lot of credit card debt on the personal side of your business. Now, when we come up here to the FICO, that will be then a responsive factor to then pushing your FICO back. Or if you're not taking on so much debt, or you are, but you're paying it off fast, you're not having any kind of late payments, no negative trade lines are reporting as a result. And we can go even deeper into this subject, into your credit reports, but not for this video. Now over here, you're like sitting at a 550 FICO, and it's because of all this debt you've accumulated and all the different inquiries, whether they're soft. Usually it's hard inquiries that make the difference. But now you have multiple inquiries. You've probably been applying to different places. Now you have a home, you have a partnership with somebody that you bought a home for, you have a piece of equipment. So now you're at like 520, and then you're saying, I'm going to pay this off in 30 days, or I'm going to get to a point where I'm going to be high enough so I get a 600. And you're relying on this, what I call double dipping. You're going back and forth and fluctuating perhaps, or you're more stable now where you're saying, hey, I'm in a position in my business where I'm ranging between 650 to 700 in FICO. And usually we take Experian and we can look at all the three credit consumer bureaus. And so you're more stable. You're somebody who's in a position now where you can make your payments on time. You don't have high credit utilization rate. You're keeping it low. You don't have so many inquiries. You don't have perhaps legal issues that are getting in the way, bankruptcies, foreclosures, liens, chargebacks, anything that's happening that's a characteristic issue, right? Because what it comes down to, and JG, I'm still waiting for your response, by the way. So here, it's a characteristic issue. When people look at your credit, myself, if I ask you for your credit reports, whether it's in the beginning or part of the underwriting process that I may be able to see, or at some point, maybe credit reports aren't needed to be pulled up. We don't need to look that extensively. Sometimes we do. And we go, well, I can see all of these issues. I can see how this could be causing you to not get a range of 12 to 24 months of a business loan / cash advance, or 1 to 3+ years. Maybe it's an online bank term loan. You're not even a bankable client. So with these discrepancies, we cannot justify you getting a higher amount of time for a term. We can't get you a lesser rate. We can't always get you the most amount of funding. Now, the only way to offset that is by having stronger revenue, stronger cash flow, not fluctuating. And then that can be more of a realistic view of we can get you more, as opposed to somebody who's has bad credit, has fluctuations in their depositing, their revenue, their monthly sales, annual gross revenue. You probably were hit hard by COVID, but you're trying to find something out there that does not exist. But there are more to this that can be added into this equation. I can say a lot more of what you're adding into your personal side of the business. I can go even more into layers, but I want to jump into this next part and then we'll kind of conclude. So some of the missing components. Think about that. And again, I can address so much more underneath the personal side. It is crazy how much I can add on to that. But for time, I want to move on. And you have an idea of, if you have bad personal credit, in a sense, what that can do to the amount you get. Depends on your revenue, depends on if you're fluctuating and if it's strong enough. Credit won't be an issue. I just want to say that now, that if you have bad credit, for those of you who don't know this or watching me for the first time, if your revenue is strong enough, for an example, let's say you have 550 FICO, like I have a lot of individuals who do, and then they're doing around 100 to 300,000 a month in revenue, or perhaps less, more or less. And we have to look at the deposits. How many times are you depositing per month? What are the average daily bank balances? What are the average monthly sales, average monthly revenue? And these, among like non-sufficient funds, negative days, overdrafts, chargebacks, bounce checks, and more, are going to be an indication to amount that you can get or not get if you just get disqualified. Like I have individuals today who got disqualified for negatives in their account and when they were. So 550 FICO, 100,000 per month. You're doing, in the last 3 months, you did 100. You're projecting 150 up, then you're 200,000 in the most recent month. Like that individual is going to get more than somebody who does 100,000 and then they went to 50,000 and then they went to 40,000 recently. It's harder to get them close to that 100 and above because you're trending backwards. See how that makes sense? So it's different for each situation. And then we can factor in the credit and say, how are you making your payments? When are you making these payments? We can't trust you giving you this amount of money when you make these payments on time and then you make these other ones that are much huger. And you've had a pattern of this happening, and then there's probably legal issues. Perhaps there's some child stuff happening, child support, marriages, divorces, your account getting frozen, or you freeze your own account, or you pause, you lock your account. There's so many reasons. I've been there, done that. And So you have to understand that with bad personal credit, you can still get in, but you have to have strong enough cash flow. If you're positive, good. So you have bad credit, well, what's your cash flow? We're basing this off of revenue. Well, when does credit not become a factor if you have bad personal credit? Well, do you have any kind of collateral to give up so we can secure the funding, perhaps with an asset, real estate, inventory, accounts receivables, invoices for an inventory line of credit? Or you're looking for more of a traditional real estate setup where you're doing a ground up construction project, you're purchasing land, and you're putting a lien on that property that you have. Perhaps certain property won't qualify, but others will. This is all the stuff that I work with, guys, traditional real estate financing as well as business financing. So if you're questioning what I can work with, I work with all of them and I get them funded. And you're going to get the best lenders and underwriters from me, bar none. So back to this part of this equation, missing components. And you're probably asking, why am I having to put in everything underneath my personal account, Michael? Why can't I have something be reported of the business credit or my business side of the equation? Well, for one, you're probably missing business credit, and that's the biggest underlying factor. And JG, I'm still waiting for a comment, by the way, but it's okay. Business credit right here. Do you have it? Yes or no? So some of you guys will say yes, but my question to you is how much? And then that can then go into the credit bureaus. I always get this word wrong. Please bear with me. Yes, but how much have you established? Under what credit bureaus? That's the major question. Who are you with? Is it just Dun & Bradstreet, Experian, Equifax, etc.? What's reporting on LexisNexis? What other disguised business credit bureaus out there that are associated with it that you may not know with? So it's one thing to say, I'm set up with D&B. Just put it that way. Said and B. But okay, how much? What accounts do you have reporting? What trade lines are reporting? How much of it have you been building, or what are you building? Now, what are the other credit bureaus looking like? Because certain lenders will look at all three. Some may look at one, others will look at 1 to 2 and say, what's that paydex score? What's the FICO SPSS score for doing an SBA loan? And a few other things. So you have to know this stuff. That's why credit monitoring is very important. And if you don't have business credit, this is why you're putting everything underneath your personal account. Why everything, for the majority of it, I'll say, even like I said, if you don't have enough business credit, is under your personal side. Okay? And that isn't unnecessarily a bad thing. When I speak to individuals and they go, isn't it a bad? No, it is not. Contrary to what other people are telling you, you're not them. So after I understand what you're dealing with, what are your problems? What are you feeling right now? What is going on? What is the actual questions that you have for me? What are the roadblocks? What are the actual results and outcomes you want? I get to understand you. I know you as a human. I care about you. I really do. I don't just say that. So you're not a number to me. People who come to me generally, they're very appreciative that I'm a very kind person to them. I won't pressure you. I won't pull you in because I feel it's best for me, not for you. I love helping you guys a lot. I get goosebumps because I love remembering the people who I help because it's not short term for me, it's long term. And that's what's going to lead me to my next point. When you don't have business credit established, yes, you will forego the opportunity cost of developing your business, building higher limits if you're doing business credit building on the back end. And you're going to look at putting everything underneath your personal side of the business. Now, that's not to say you don't have a business checking account. Maybe you don't. Maybe you just have a personal checking account you're using for business, or you're pushing personal to business, and that won't usually work best. Or you're doing business checking to business checking where we can verify what's coming from there. But what I'm saying is if your business credit is not established, it's not being built, it's just left doormat, it's not actively being used. In certain industries, I get that. Your business model isn't set up to accept that. I get it. On the terms you get paid, you may get paid right away, or there are other discrepancies that I get all the time. However, it is for just about everybody. Whether you're building it or not, having it there to some magnitude will help you. And so if you're running everything underneath your personal account, regardless of if you have a business credit or not, a business account, a lot of the times you'll be required to add a personal guarantee into all of these business loans and cash advances, etc. And if you're even building personal business credit with credit cards, you know how that is. Until you get to a level like Amazon, Walmart, where they have all of this humongous amount of cash flow, if you were to look at their assets and liabilities, their year-to-date financials and profit and loss, my goodness, because I have seen examples of it, and I go, okay, and I know how to break that stuff down. Until you have these and the right amount of assets, even at that point, it can still be a bit difficult. But they don't always have to take on a personal guarantee. And that's how you get up to those higher corporation type of levels, and you start building that out. But personal guarantees aren't necessarily a bad thing. They're there to help you stay accountable and responsible. You're not a child, you're an adult. Shouldn't you be held liable for being getting a default, or held liable for not being able to make your repayment? What is this, an EIDL loan where you can get, or a PPP loan where you can get it completely deferred and forgiven? Like, what is it, a student loan? This isn't that. This isn't free government money, everybody. So when you come to me, don't say, I don't have a need for these funds. Go, I'll have a need for these. That sounds better than saying I don't have a need. You're applying for something you'll have to pay back in 6-7 months, 12 to 24 or so months, but you don't necessarily have a need for it. Well, I thought I'd qualify for an SBA loan and then use this whenever I needed to, but you weren't profitable. Your expenses exceeded your revenue. But I get it. I love to hear what the reasoning is, but the logic, and I can help you understand that you evolved too fast. Shouldn't have been doing that. Should have been working with what you had, iterating that, and producing more from what you have from your existing base, and then add on a little bit more if you need to. But going back to the side is, if you don't have business credit established, this is going to happen. And it's not wrong. That's why a lot of individuals end up getting these merchant cash advances, cash advance type of products, because you don't have business credit. You're putting everything underneath personal. And it's not wrong. Be honest, it's not. Everybody's different. You are in a position where you're cash flowing just fine. And so you take on a cash advance of a daily/weekly repayment. In most cases, monthly people go into default. It doesn't work. And so that's okay. Daily and or weekly. You can start off weekly if you have it. If you have that underwriting and you go through it and we go, yeah, we can start with the weekly repayment. And for those of you who have a locked Experian account, please unlock it at the time of application when I've spoken to you and you're ready for this, because that makes a huge difference. We've been able to get people from a daily to a weekly because of that. Because we weren't able to see the full report because you had it locked. So we had to give you something different. Now, not everybody will have that. So you're cash flowing positive enough. So what's the bigger situation here? Let's come back to this document. And I'm not going to go too in depth into how you break down business credit, what other parts of the business need to be up to date. And I'm just going to leave it at this part for now. And I'll probably create content in the future on personal credit and what they're looking at, and the credit reports, and a lot more things. But not necessarily, again, like I said, is it a bad thing? Just understand what you're doing and you're getting yourself into. Now, over here, you have to have a long-term vision. Let's put long-term vision. We can say focus and mission. My goal for you is much bigger than what you have at this moment. If you're an individual who starts off with something that they didn't want, well, I wanted a term loan for monthly repayment. I wanted that SBA, that equipment financing loan, or that personal loan, or etc. But yeah, you didn't have business credit established, did you? Well, we can work on it. If you don't need the funding now, we can work on this in about 1 to 2, usually 2+ months. You have something reporting, and where it's reporting to, it's another question. You're building trade lines, you're making purchases with different vendors. And if you need help building business credit, by the way, I have a free video series down below that'll show you how to get up to 150,000, if not up to 250,000. That's not tied to your social security number. And if you guys would like to see that, please check in the description for it. So long-term vision, focus, and mission is my goal for each and every one of you. I wake up every morning with my own long-term vision, focus, mission, and so forth. And what that means is, hey, if you started off with personal, how do we get you to a business side of the equation? It could be business checking account, business credit, building business credit cards is a part of that. How do we get you an LLC, perhaps C Corp, S Corp, shelf corporation, if you're looking for those kind of things. But what you don't want to do, and I told an individual this the other day, is don't buy trade lines. That can go wrong in so many ways. It doesn't report appropriately. The lenders can see what that is, where it's coming from. It actually wastes a lot of energy and time. You end up making mistakes for that, and then it actually will drop and hurt your credit. So don't do that. If you're that individual asking me about, I've seen people do it, not by my permission. Some of them actually decided to do it themselves. Well, I don't want to listen to this. If you don't want to listen to me, that's fine. Go do more harm to yourself. It's fine. If you want to do that, go ahead. It's not going to hurt me, but you're going to hurt yourself by trying to do things that won't work. So be very careful of that. Now, there's a bit more to this long-term vision. So again, just so you guys know, I didn't have this like scripted. I want you guys to know that I did not script this. So that's why I'm kind of just going off of this, and I don't have show notes here like I would do in a lot of cases. So this wasn't a video I thought I'd produce today. Just so you guys know, I created one yesterday. I said I probably wouldn't be going live today, and I usually go live today at 12:45. So appreciate you guys for being in here. Really do. Now over here, you have to think about how that all comes into play with what you can actually get in the future. Your funding, I'm going to put right here. And once you're carrying momentum, I want you guys to take the keyword here as momentum and think about it as in you're climbing up a steep hill. You didn't think you could. You were already having problems. You couldn't breathe well doing this. You doubted yourself because of what you got in the beginning, but you are like just moving up one checkpoint after the next until you get to the very top. And you're riding this first checkpoint to the next checkpoint, and maybe you're clearing obstacles, you're moving, you're shifting left and right just to get up, you're putting your hands and your fingers in places and rocks and just trying to get up because it's pushing you back down. The rocks from the top are then falling to the bottom, and you're having to claw your way up at one point, bear crawling, but then you get yourself back up on your 2 feet. So that's what happens when you do this. And you have to get to perhaps the next checkpoint where you're, hey, now I'm at business credit. At the same time, while I'm building my personal credit, I'm probably getting that all situated and in a better situation where then I can come and apply and think that it'll be a lot better for me. And then you get that funding underneath your personal side of the equation. And at the same time, my vision for you is to build that business credit at the same time. And I'll show you how to do this. But a lot of individuals, they neglect this. You're on that first checkpoint, getting onto that second checkpoint, and you wait until that first checkpoint is completed for you to even start anything else. Instead, think about it different. If I'm paying this business cash advance back, whatever it is, a loan, even if it's you qualify for other services, why would I stop or not build my business credit at the same time? It's ludicrous. People don't do this. You're so fixated on just paying off what you have, and I get you're busy as a business owner. But it doesn't take much. If you're busy as a business owner, at the same time, you can infuse that with making purchases for your business under different vendors, under Uline, Granger, Quill, Brex. There's a lot. And at the same time, it's building your business credit on the back end. So if you needed those additional 10 to 20,000 in funding, guess what? You have that. And while at the same time, you may not have started off with a good personal credit score, but you increased it yourself. You fixed it. I helped you with credit repair. Now you went from a 550 to a 620, and then from 620 you're at now 670. Then you built yourself up to 680. Now guess what? While you're carrying momentum, before you even got to that second checkpoint, you have business credit reporting. However much that is, that's another question. How fast you're building it, and what's actually reporting in time. And then thereafter, guess what? You're still at checkpoint 1, and now you're at a 680 plus FICO on all 3 consumer credit bureaus, personal credit bureaus. Wow. And guess what that does? That opens up the door now for 0% interest for 6 to 18 months if you haven't had that already. And if you have, there are other ways to expand more into that. 0% interest for 6 to 18 months funding. Oh, my goodness. So you're telling me I don't have to pay interest on this? Well, okay, great. Awesome. While I'm over here paying off a cash advance, I haven't paid it off completely. and you're still fixated on the rate doesn't have anything to do with this, guys. For those of you out there wondering, like, people jump the gun and they ask me, what are the interest rates and what are the terms? I don't answer that question from the beginning because I know your psychology. I know how this works. I'm not manipulating at all. I'm ethical. I just know when people ask me from the very beginning, what are your terms and rates? Maybe they've been around the bubble here and there and they want to know, but at the same time, you're making the decision based off of the rates primarily, let alone the terms. It's the rates. And what you shouldn't be doing is that. You should be basing this off of the benefit of what you're taking that funding and how you're applying it. That's why there are two things to look at. And I said this the other day. Having a calculated return on your investment. Have you measured that? Have you sat down, put a business plan together perhaps, look at your budgeting and said, this is where I need to add more money into inventory. I need to put it into the marketing this way. What's actually been working for me? Have a proven setup. And that's what's going to allow you to take this funding and then use it much faster. And you go, Michael, I'm putting $1 in and getting $3 out of my marketing and advertising. Great. For how long has this been? Oh, it's been happening for the last 2 to 3 years, man. Good. Do you have another use for these funds? Yeah, I'm going to actually get some inventory, some new product, mesh with the old stuff that I already know sells at this rate and this amount. This is my return on my investment for these services. But this one, I'm going to need to take more of a calculated risk. Okay, good. So you're making more on this product. You're getting this type of a return, gross profit. Maybe it's helping you net income and not net operational expenses and all this included. Drops down the cost of that. And then cost of goods sold, raw material cost of putting that product together. All right. So that individual who comes to me, it's not about rates. It's more about how can I take that money and then double, triple, quadruple my money, Michael. I'm in a growth and expansion mode. Or it might not do that completely, or it might not do that right away. It could be that in time. You're cash flowing positive. But somebody who comes to me and goes, Michael, I just want to have money, man. They have like their cap to this. You know what I mean? Like I want to have my money there when I need it. I'm just trying to survive. What can you do for me? Honestly, I can do plenty, but how are you going to help yourself first? That's my question I'm always asking. Are you helping yourself so you can help me? You haven't even done that. So you're coming to me looking for funding that you don't even know how you're going to use it. Well, I wanted a line of credit. Okay. Well, you didn't get approved for one. What do you mean I didn't? I have other companies who have that's a pre-approval. It's different when you actually get the offer and then there's a final underwriting and you don't actually get approved for it. I have people who, can be very ignorant about that. What do you mean? You're not working with better lenders? And I go, well, yeah, I'm working with the best. Actually, those who actually protect your privacy, others who will take that and disperse it to other third parties in a lot of cases. Not all, but you have to be careful. So back to this part and then we'll conclude the video. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for commenting. Shantae, you need to speak with me when it is possible to get a loan. I will have more to look at through email. So if you've emailed me, I have to go through that. Please do so. I'll leave it in the comments here for everybody else too. And if you haven't for those of you who haven't gone through my questionnaire form, please go through that first. It's not in the comments right now or the description, I should say, because I just spontaneously did this live. So I'll have it updated after this is published. Sorry. So in the comments, I put my email. If you want to get a hold of me and discuss what potential options are available, your exact situation. But I always want people to fill out my questionnaire form. And I'll actually put that right now in the comments. 1 second. And then we'll jump back to this document and then close up shop. Actually, I kind of changed this up a little bit recently. I'm doing this myself, just so you guys know this is me. So we're going to take you to this page instead. All right, now it's in the comment section. What I recommend everybody do is fill out that questionnaire. I have people who reach out to me every day, and I would love to help you. I sincerely do. Out of my heart, I take my time and energy. Please value that. And so fill that out. I will then evaluate it and then analyze it and give you a proper response back via email, like Gerardo here, right? You can be a testament to that. Very cooperative, responsive, amazing person. I've gone over the time to get to know him better, and he is an amazing person. Honestly, he's at the top. Great human being, was expressive, opened up. I know how hard it can be as men to just open up, uh, but it's a safe free zone with me. You're in an ecosystem where you will thrive in. I will let you know what the best available option and options are. And if you don't qualify for something now, perhaps you'll see it. And then I'll show you what that can look like in time. You are welcome. Sounds good. I'll look forward to it, and don't rush anything. You're very deliberate and you're very purposeful about things. Other individuals will tell me something and then they do a completely other thing. Those are the people I don't want to work with usually. People who say, "Hey, I'll send you the documentation," and I have people do that, and I go, "Okay," and then guess what? They're a flop. So it's a character flaw. Now let me come back to this document and then we'll close up shop. So see how it opens up more doors, and then in that meantime, perhaps, hey, you have business credit established. You want to pay this off, or no, there's early payment discounts, no prepayment penalties. All right, you got your business credit reporting in 2 months. You paid off that advance, perhaps, or you didn't pay it off completely fast. You wanted to take the time, overtime to do it throughout the term. But hey, look, you've developed these things. And then next thing you know, you might be qualified for a business term loan. Hey, 1 to 2 or 1 to 3 years sometimes, because the banks aren't lending as much these days. So a lot of people are turning to private lending options. Wow, now I can qualify for an online bank term loan with choice of 2, 3, 5, 7 years. Yeah. See how this is like, congratulations. You just upgraded to your new account. See, this is what you guys need to understand is it always your choice to decide what terms, what rates you get, but you can make the decision on how you change that. And how do you change that? You go to the diagnosis. You don't fix the symptom and just say, I'm going to increase my revenue, and that should allow me to then get between 2 to 3 years next time with a monthly term. That doesn't always work that way. Yeah, it might then, if you're working with the right partner and the right lender, they'll say, hey, you are a proven client. You've not defaulted. You're making the payments. You actually paid it off much faster. We'll allow you to get more funds. And then we can probably move you from a daily to a weekly by that point. And then if we go from weekly to a monthly, how does that look like? What do you need to get there? And you're saying, well, Michael, I've been putting all this time. Yeah, but you didn't put time into business credit building. You didn't put time into doing this. So how can we justify giving you that? Yeah, you don't have the right revenue yet to get you a monthly repayment. You don't have the right credit. You don't have business credit established or enough of it. So you got to make the right decisions to get you there. And not always is a monthly repayment going to be your best interest. So it's not like you have to go from daily, weekly to then a monthly. Is that always the goal? It's not always the outcome. A lot of people love daily and weekly because they know what's getting taken out of their account. It's not a huge amount that has to fluctuate from month to month. Now you're taking on an additional $10,000 to $20,000 unsecured, or $5,000 to $10,000 on top of the credit cards, on top of the rent. So now you're paying $20,000 to $30,000 a month. Holy! And guess why they're not lending you as much? Because you have such a huge payment, and then you have all this credit card debt. So you have to think about the trade-off, the benefit to that. And then perhaps down the line, you do move into that. And then perhaps down the line, you move into an SBA Express loan. You have enough time. Your industry specifically is asking you for 5+ years. You're being asked for more than 2+ years, or you're being asked to do a certain amount of revenue. Your business credit profile has to be this. And then perhaps you're getting the standard loan or the standard loan with up to $5 million. Now you're able to look at this equation and go, hey, now I have one big loan I can use whenever I need to. Perhaps I had a line of credit on the side, or I consolidated it underneath the SBA loan. And guess what? I put my business credit building together, Michael. I have my personal credit. I actually improved it. I increased it. And I have more favorable terms and rates. Great. Now you got more funding. You're improving. And in this whole meantime, you built up some trade lines, personal and in business. See how this works? And it doesn't just end there. I can go on and on and on. But I will leave it at that for now. And just know that I have a long-term vision for you. I have you in my hands, and they are clean first, and you will be taken care of. That's it, pretty much. Without going into stories right now. So I just want you guys to know that there is a way to do this. How do you get a business loan? Recapping, how to get a business loan with bad personal credit. Well, more or less, I just showed you guys that. I can go even deeper into that subject, and I have other content about it. I'll link you guys to down below in time. But you have bad personal credit, strong revenue. Okay, well, we look at cash flow, bank statements. All right, what are they telling us? Credit card statements, if anything. What is the credit report telling us if we need to pull credit reports? If not, it's okay. But a lot of people feel happy sharing that with me from the beginning before they even go and apply anywhere, because then I can show you what to do with it. Will I always ask for it? No, not these days as much as I used to. But at some point in the underwriting, it may be asked for, especially with higher types of financing like SBA loans or in the beginning. But just understand that there's a level to this. Bad credit, higher enough revenue, cash flow. Can it help service the debt? Yes. Apologize if it's dark here, guys. The HP lighting thing goes on and off for some reason. And it is dark here in Vancouver, Washington is where I'm located. But be very careful about just saying, I'm going to start off with, like, you're looking for something that doesn't exist. And I said this the other day, that if you have B or C tier client material, and you're not an A tier, why are you going to an A tier client or an A tier lender that's not going to look at you, or they're going to just decline you? They won't even refer you anywhere else. They shouldn't have to refer you. And if they referred you, are they legitimate? Are the person you even applied with legitimate? Be careful about how your information has been shared with everybody. So you're a C tier client looking for B tier funding, A tier funding. No, that won't work. C tier funding is what you fall into right now. Another individual has an A tier material. So, okay, do we have to put this underneath your personal, or is it underneath your business? And or, well, because you have no business credit established, and even if you had it, it doesn't always make sense to go to those options, and it won't always qualify you for that. So that's another thing. You have business credit doesn't necessarily automatically get you approved for those monthly options or those other types of financing. You have to put you got to actually put some time into this, so it doesn't just grow automatically. No. Did your business grow automatically? Okay, I bought a business. I don't really know. I'm not saying you don't appreciate it, but when you start something from the very bottom up, you appreciate everything. That's how I began. This is why I deliver the things that I deliver, because nobody gave me anything. When somebody brought me into this world of becoming a business loan broker under them, they didn't help me. I knew I wanted to get in this field. I already had an idea how it had worked. I just had to get to that point. But nobody helped me. Nobody told me, hey, this is how you go and speak with people. This is what you do and do this. This is what you should and should not say. I had to learn those mistakes myself from the very beginning. I had lost a lot of people because of certain things, but because I've been in this for so long now, it's been all fine-tuned, and I know my stuff very well, and I can deliver it, and I know how to help you in your certain situation. So I'll leave you with that. Look in the description for all information. Appreciate you all for tuning in, and those of you who could show up and comment. Those of you who are in here telling me, like, I don't know if you guys saw this guy commenting, or this individual saying that I was a scam artist. I challenged them and I told them to comment back and tell me why you think that I am. And until this point, I have not seen a comment. Perhaps you'll reach out to me individually. I would have rather you have said it here. I'm not a scam artist. I want to put that out there for everybody, and be very careful with people who do say that. And again, I asked the reason why he thinks that is. Again, I don't have an answer. You guys see it here, right? There's no answer that follows up with that. I'm not asking for factual evidence, statistics. I'm asking for just what your thoughts are. And let alone that wasn't even given to me or presented. So when you bring something to me like that, don't be mad or upset if somebody like myself would challenge you to question that. It'll happen anywhere. And I said it in a very nice way, to be honest with you. I didn't backlash you. I didn't go get aggressive on you. I said it in a very appropriate way. So, saludos, Gerardo. Appreciate you. Like always, man. You're always there. Appreciate you. Hope everything's going well in your business. And we'll get caught up soon. And as well as everybody else in here who I'm yet to get caught up with in email, please give me some time. Extremely busy. I have to go. Yeah, I got to do a few things on my material in a little bit. And then have a safe rest of your day, afternoon, wherever it is in the world you are, time zone wise. as well as your evening. And I will talk to you all soon. Keep looking out for my content. And that'll be all. Take care.